So I'd like to welcome you to the 5,538th meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. Everyone is now in session. And I'd like to begin today with our thought, as always, the thought of the day. And the person who has been your Zoom MC for today, and of course, former past president of Rotary One, will also be giving the thought. So I will hand the floor over to Mr. John Alberts. The floor is yours, sir.
Thanks, Eric. The thought for the day: questions on music. Does vibration solely, whether heard or sensed, constitute music? Is music defined as sounds organized by humans, or do we hear music from sounds which occur either in nature or from the rhythmic or arrhythmic operation of machinery? What of music we hear in our minds and no physical origin? Are rhythms without more music, or must rhythm be accompanied by pitch? Is harmony music, or must there be a perceivable direction for the harmony to follow to be musical? What of dynamics, accents, accelerando and deccelerando, sostenuto and pauses, drone, resolution, crescendo and decrescendo, practice, performance skill, insight, cleverness, jokes, unity, communication, words, and poetry? When and how might prose and poetry become music? Must music be pleasant, or may it trouble, antagonize, soothe, and or confuse? Is there an argument that pitches, organized and perceived as to be in appropriate intervals, as musical in one part of the world, reflect their true or universal relationships? What about blue notes? Finally, how is it that music speaks to us through our reasoned understanding, and physically and deeply emotionally? Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. And I knew I could count on you to have a thought that was related to music, although I didn't really hear anything about trombones in there. So you'll have to work that in next time. Very good. Thank you very much, John. I think everybody in the room has grabbed their food and their drink, so thank you for doing that. I do want to share with you, before we begin our program, the results of a survey that we did a couple of times in September, basically to try to gauge people's level of comfort with meeting in person, particularly meeting indoors at the Union League Club. I know a lot of you have asked me about this. If you look at the survey here, you see that over 70% of the members who responded to this survey at the two meetings in September indicated that by November they would be willing to meet in person at the Union League Club. That's a pretty big change from the last time we did this a few months back, where there was a fairly large percentage of people who wanted to wait until there was a vaccine. And we do see the numbers looking a little bit better in the city of Chicago. We also see the city of Chicago improving some of the requirements for capacity limits at restaurants and so forth. So we discussed this today at our board meeting, which we just had right before this meeting here. And so we are going to experiment on October 27th with going back to the Union League Club of Chicago with our lunch meeting. So we're going to have our October 27th Tuesday lunch with Speaker Chuck Corrigan, District Governor. That's going to be an in-person meeting at the Union League Club of Chicago. We'll see how it goes. We'll make sure the technology works. We'll see if people actually show up. And if it works well, then we will discuss as a board reinstating in-person meetings. And as always, our in-person meetings, similar to what we have here today, will have a Zoom component for those who are remote or who are not yet comfortable meeting in person. So we'll use the 27th as an opportunity to work out some of those kinks. So I just wanted to share that with all of you here today. Well, now it's time to move into our program. And so to introduce our speaker today, I would first like to introduce you to one of our very own Rotarians and a member of the long the organization with a very long history, the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, who has helped us to do some volunteer work here in the city of Chicago just last week. I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. Wayman Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, President Eric. I'm glad to be here tonight to introduce Fernando Jones, his International Blues Camp. If one word could describe this creative name, Fernando Jones, it would be rare. He has been playing the blues on the guitar ever since he was 4 years old and is still going strong. This world-class, internationally known American blues man, educator, and songwriter was born in Loving, Mississippi, parents on the south side of Chicago. They were advocates for education and the arts. Jones is one of the few living African-American bluesmen to have a tribute album of his compositions done by a band of a different continent. Jonas Blues Band of Rome, Italy is the group. Jones has performed his compositions from basement parties to the University of Hawaii, to the Smithsonian Institute, to the Conservatory of Music in Pescara, Italy, to nightclubs in Havana, Cuba. Here is a sample of his scholarly writing in the Journal of the Popular Music Studies and Awards. In January 2020, the National Association of Music Merchants invited him to host a lecture on the impact of blues pedagogy. As a lecturer, Fernando Jones has established blues camps for youths on the continents of Asia, Europe, North America, and the Caribbean islands of Cuba. Here's an interview on him done by the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library. In his bio, there's some links. So, you would click on the links and it would take you to some of these links that I'm talking about that you can't see right now. As evident of his works demonstrate, here's why Fernando Jones, a Keeping the Blues Alive Award recipient and Chicago Blues Hall of Fame member, is worth investing in as a performer, lecturer, and/or an artist in residence. Fernando Jones is original in his approach to music with a focus on the blues and performing arts. Jones is on faculty in the music department at Columbia College, Chicago, as the founding blues ensemble director. There, his blues camp for students, musicians ages 12 to 18 is in residence. He also holds membership with the American Federation of Musicians, Local 10-208, Broadcast Music, Inc., songwriter and publisher, the Chicago, Illinois Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, lifetime membership. Fernando Jones has presented professional development workshops for Blues Camps International, FDIC, Nike Marketing Team, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the National Alliance of Black School Educators, Columbia College, Chicago, the NAMM Show, National Association of Music Merchants, Chicago Public Schools, and the Los Angeles Unified School District. That's a mouthful. And with that being said, I would like to introduce Fernando Jones and his blues camp. And he's also an esteemed member of Kappa Alpha Psi and a beloved member of our fraternity.
Thank you, brother. Let's hear it for my frat brother, Mr. Wayman Anderson, you all. How's everybody doing today? All right, you can come off mute. We can have an interactive back and forth if you want. I would like to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity. And of course, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. Once again, I'm Fernando Jones. I was born right here in Chicago. I have a wonderful relationship with the Glessner House in times when there was no pandemic. We would do our white party for our blues camp there at the end of blues camp week. I'll talk a little bit about blues camp. My new good friend Shelby has some videos that she's going to roll. So I'm just going to talk a little bit, going to show a little bit of video, then I'm going to talk a little bit and answer some questions. Then I'll show some footage of me playing and the whole bit. I started a program called Blues Kids of America back in 1988 when I started as a substitute teacher in Chicago Public Schools. Fast forwarding to 2010, I established an international blues camp called Blues Camp, Fernando Jones's International Blues Camp. We're in residence at Columbia College, Chicago. We started with about 77 kids. We kicked off on the 4th of July, which was a Sunday, 2010. And we grew from that to the next year to partnering with Institutes of Higher Learning in Southern California. Up until this past year, we've gone to establish camps at the Tokyo School of Music in Tokyo, Japan, Havana, Cuba, a lot of different colleges and universities throughout the United States. I noticed that there are a lot of people who identified themselves as musicians, bass trombone players, and things like that. So I would love to be able to collaborate in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Even though we're during this pandemic, we did have Blues Camp online this summer by way of Columbia College. And if at any point you all want to look up some information on me or the camp during this piece, you can go to my name, which is fernandojones.com, or you can go to the Blues Kids website, which is blueskids.com. Standard spelling, BLUESKIDS. All right, so I'm going to defer to my new good friend, Shelby, and see if Shelby has that wonderful footage lined up.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise. Let our rejoicing rise high as the lifting sky.
Sing a song.
Sing a song.
Faith.
Full of the faith that the darkness has taught us.
Sing a song.
Sing a song.
Hope brought.
Full of the hope that the present has brought us. Praising the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on to victory is won. Somebody, I am a musician. A musician is a person that makes music. A good musician listens. A musician that listens learns. And a musician that learns.
Hey, our next guest mission is to preserve and promote blues music among America's youth. So please welcome the director of the Blues Kids Foundation, Fernando Jones.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
You looking sharp, man.
All right, a reflection of you, brother.
This whole outfit says blues, doesn't it?
All right.
It's Chicago blues.
All right.
Obviously, Chicago, we know this is the home of blues.
Yes.
And you're teaching the younger generation, but it's a lot more than just music, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're teaching them how to be good people. And we also teach them how to play the blues the proper way and how they represent the world, because nothing is more American than the blues.
Yeah. How do you become a blues kid?
Well, you can go to blueskids.com and you can find out about our summer blues camp at Columbia College, Chicago. We also have blues camps as far away as Tokyo, Japan, London, England, and our camps are free, and it's for the kid who wants to play the blues.
Wow. Now, how is this funded if it's free? How is it funded, and do you have to have musical talent going in?
Well, we have some strategic partners like people from Art Simi, LaFort Martin Fund, Reuben Donnelly, and I put a lot of money into it, and we're always looking for a blues angel to come along to help us out. And That's why it's free. And if a kid wants to come and play, they will find us. For if it's an entry-level blues kid, an intermediate, or an advanced blues kid, they can come and they can be a part. We want the kid that wants to be there.
Yeah, we got a lot of those here today. How about the McDowell brothers and Sam just won a Chicago Music Award. Got two lovely ladies on stage as well. Sam, what has this program meant to you?
You know, I've been doing Blues Kids like ever since I pretty much started playing drums as a beginner, and you know, it's really molded me into the musician I am today. You know, just proper etiquette, you know, how to handle yourself on stage, you know, the proper way to conduct yourself within a band, and also most importantly, playing the blues itself. So, you know, it's always a lot of fun.
All right, Sam, we're going to get to hear you play the blues right now. Get on those drums and performing Water and Oil. Give it up for the Blues Kids.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You remind me of a hurricane, but you treat me like a candle in the rain. I give you money, I give you my time, but I know you'll never be mine. I've tried all the tricks, deal, oil and water don't do. I just remember, don't know your name. Is it Billy the Kid or Jesse James? You're fine, but you treat me oh so mean. I've tried all the tricks, Steve. Oil and water don't make. Oil and water, oil and water, oil and water don't make. Oil and water, oil and water, oil and water don't mix. I've tried all the tricks, Steve. Oil and water don't mix. CJ!
Gypsy woman told my mother
C'est lui qui joue.
before I was born.
Vas-y.
I got up a chance coming. Gonna be so
Chanson que tu peux nous chanter de blues, un truc avec la guitare, ou est-ce que tu peux nous chanter un autre truc? Parce que je
oui.
sens.
Sweet Home Chicago.
Sweet Home Chicago.
Ah ouais, vas-y.
On the hook.
Allez Enzo, allez.
Baby, don't you wanna go back to the Ensemble? Sweet Home Chicago.
Mais c'est un rêve ça. C'est un rêve éveillé.
These young people are bringing in the new year through song. They're the first Palm Beach County group to be part of the Fernando Jones International Blues Camp.
All right, first verse.
For 10 years now, Jones, a Chicago-based musician, has held free camps all over the country. Since Sunday, he and his staff have been introducing this group ranging from beginner to advanced musicians to the blues. They're using what they're learning on this stage in Delray Beach for a series of public performances they'll give around Palm Beach County this week.
Today is our second day, but it seems like we've covered 3 to 4 days worth of material, and that's because they do their homework.
Jones, who's also a college instructor, is teaching these campers that while blues may be a mystery to them now, it is in fact closely associated to the music most of them are growing up on. Did you know what blues was before this week?
No, I did not. I didn't know what blues was at all. I thought it was gonna be sad and boring and like old people music.
But the blues is the root of American music, and so when they listen to hip hop or even gospel music, because Thomas A. Dorsey, the father of gospel music, was a blues man.
Campers say they're liking this introduction to blues. In a way, learning something new is bringing out the kid in them.
Music means a lot to me because, like, I listen to all these kinds of music was here, and, like, it's fun.
We really appreciate you making the Blues Kids Foundation and Blues Camp one of your charities of choice.
All right, I'm back. So that was just a snapshot of some of the programming that we had. And we'd like to give a shout out to the North Shore Rotary Group, Rotary Club. They've been one of our strategic partners in the past, and hopefully the Chicago chapter can be one of our strategic partners as well, whether we're doing remote or doing live. I'm open for any questions before I start talking some more about music and what is music and all that kind of good stuff. Can you come off mute?
So any questions for Fernando on what you just saw about the Blues Camp, either on Zoom or here in the room?
Yeah, let's get maybe 2 or 3 from the room and maybe 2 or 3 from Zoom. So we can go room, Zoom, room, Zoom, room, Zoom.
And if somebody, Fernando, when somebody asks a question in the room, I'll repeat it here so that
that'll be cool. And ask them to, if they have something in common, if they're a musician or an educator. And I know the folks online, if they tell me where they're from, that'll be cool too.
Okay, sounds good. So let me start with the room here and see if anybody, I won't look at any specific educators that I happen to know. Happen to be sitting over there since you asked about educators. Wes, what's your question?
How many of these blues camps currently operating?
The question from Wes here is, how many of these blues camps do you operate annually? During normal conditions, let's say.
During normal conditions, the most that we've done from a summer standpoint has been 7. This past year, we just did one big super one, and we did it online, and we just invited the world. At the Chicago camp, we have about 130 kids ranging. We promote ages from 12 to 18, but we do have 7 to 11-year-olds in the camp. We just don't publicly promote it that low because we don't want it to be a babysitting service. But if you build it, they will come. And we have those students rocking. So we said, well, 10% of 130 is 13. So we said, if we get 13 to 20 kids to come to the Blues Camp online for the week, that would be cool. And we had 45. So we kind of hit that out the park. And we hope that, there's a vaccine, a cure, so on and so forth, that we'll be able to do it again in the future. I'm really sensitive to the situation. I lost a cousin to COVID, so I know it's real and have to be very respectful of the time that we live in. But once we get back to a normal time where it is safe, we'll be back in full gear. And until then, in October, we're going to have a Blues Camp Day that if you all are interested, you can reach out to me and I'll invite you and or any students that can benefit from that. And then in February, during Black History Month, I believe it'll be the last Saturday from about 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We'll do something really special online, and there's no cover or cost to any of these events. Oh, and during Blues Camp, one of the cool things, when we do it in different parts of the country or the world, we have a component called the Blues Mamas and the Blues Daddies. So if you are, an uncle or a guardian of any sort of any kid or a donor, and you want to participate in that, that's free and that's cool. And what we do is we have the Blues Mamas and the Blues Daddies, they open up the shows for the blues kids throughout the week. So on Monday, we have like a kid activity, skating, bowling, barbecue. And then on Tuesday on through Friday, we have the kids and the Blues Mamas and the Blues Daddies performing in venues that in the past have included, but not limited to, Glessner House, Buddy Guy's Legends, House of Blues, Hard Rock Cafe, Navy Pier, so on and so forth.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Any questions from the Zoomosphere? I think you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question directly if you have one.
Yes, Fernando. This is Guillermo Mendoza. I'm out in the Coachella Valley. Our Rotary Club is out here in the desert.
Hey, Guillermo.
And I think you mentioned that you were going to do some of this on Zoom. So
Yes, sir.
we offer a music competition here. It's a two-part one where the semifinals are done with our club, but then they go off to the finals. But how could we get together with you to be able to provide something like that for our students?
We can do it. We can do it. We can set up a date and I can Zoom right in to your kids. And maybe what we could even do, even if it's not until 2022, maybe the winner of your competition, maybe you could award them a trip to Chicago to our big camp, or maybe we could even establish a camp. Is that by the Redlands? I heard you say something about the Redlands.
The finals are at the University of Redlands, yes. So all the Rotary clubs have their own individual competitions. We support the Coachella Valley Unified School District, so we give out 3 scholarships to them, 5, 3, and the $200 one. But once they're at Redlands, they're entitled to a $1,000 scholarship, but they're broken up by wind instruments, string instruments, and piano. So that's $3,000 for whoever the winners are.
Yeah, well, we've been close to your neck of the woods. For a few years, we had a blues camp at UC Irvine. We were at the Fender Center for the Performing Arts in Corona. So that part of Southern California.
Yeah, that's under an hour, about an hour.
Yeah, because you all are the Inland Empire. Is that what that's called?
No, that's just north of us. We're into the desert region.
Okay, cool. I would love to collaborate with
Palm
you.
Desert, Rancho Mirage, all those areas.
Okay, well you got me. I'll put when one of the breaks come, I'll put my number. I'll put it up in there now.
Very
all
good.
right.
Thank you, Guillermo.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's see. I'll go back to the room here, Fernando. See if there's anybody else here with a question. We have immediate past President Marshall Schmidt with a question.
Okay.
Marshall.
I sent the number to. I was sent back to. I think John. Okay. But he asked me about blue notes. Those are pretty much in blues layman terms, just notes that bend, for the most part. 773-841-841. When you feel like Little Richard used to say about the blues, sometimes it could be so good, and his quote was, "Make your big toe stand up in your boot." So when that happens, that is pretty much when a blue note is got next to you, either on a guitar, a piano, or somebody's voice, or a horn instrument. 5262. Okay, let me send that out to everybody. All right.
Excellent.
Did I overtalk the last question?
No, that's fine, Fernando. We got a question here in the room as well. So hold on one second.
Okay.
Question, Marshall.
Okay.
So the question is, especially these days, Fernando, a lot of school districts are cutting back on music and the arts. The question is how can we build on or learn from what you're doing? How can communities build on that to find alternative ways to educate students about music?
That is a great question. I have 2 parts to that. For Chicago Public Schools, I am a Chicago Public School vendor. So if there's a school that's a Chicago Public School or charter school, I'm already in that stream so that you could tell the principals about us. Otherwise, if you have a relationship with a park district or a public place where it's big enough that you can social distance, just out some sort of a survey in a community newspaper. And the cool thing about music and musicians, and obviously I'm one now, of course, and I was one as a kid from 4 years old all the way until now. Musicians often, whether we are punk rockers or blues players or classical players, sometimes we feel like we are the only ones, and sometimes we feel weird because there are more of us that aren't musicians than are musicians. And for example, some kid who might just like to rap or sing gospel music or sing or rock out to the Rolling Stones, he or she, they're at home right now surfing on YouTube, and they don't know that a music program exists, probably if they're not searching properly. But if you put the word out, like they say, if you build it, they will come. And I think that would be pretty cool. I know my brother, the brother that's the closest to me, he passed away. He's 8 years older than me. I was born in 64. So putting that into a historical perspective. So 68, if I was 4, he was 12. I used to go to what they had in Chicago public schools called Social Center. And I was like all eyes, they had everything happening in Social Center, sports, music, and all that. And I'm aware that those programs don't necessarily exist. But I guess parents of kids or concerned members in communities, I guess if you bang the proverbial drum loud enough, people will, I guess, acquiesce to the demand or the want of music. Sometimes they cut music and cut art out of it, and people don't say anything. And Dr. Gardner from Harvard University came up with the multiple intelligence theory, and thankfully for him, he considers music to be one of the intelligences. So just make a lot of noise. Put a flyer out, put something in the newspaper, go to your local school council, talk to the superintendent. All that information is public. You can see the superintendent's email address and a number to his or her office, and call and leave a message and say, hey, I want, even if it's not your kid, I want music in these schools.
Thank you, Fernando. So we've got, I think we've got about maybe 3 or 4 minutes left.
Okay.
Fernando,
Okay.
was there more that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I wanted to share a performance because I'm one of those. I'm negative for COVID, thankfully, but I'm like a high risk guy with with asthma and stuff. So that's the only reason why I didn't come out today. But I did prepare a 3-minute performance that I would love to share with you all. And I do promise once this blows over, I would love to come out and say hello, even if I'm not featured that day to you all, maybe in the spring or something, or next fall.
We would love to have you, Fernando.
Yeah, so I'll pass the ball back to Miss Shelby, and she'll run that. And then if you want me to say goodnight at the end of that one, I'll gladly do so. But I would love to collaborate with you all.
Thank you.
Every time I get stopped by the police, I'm a thug, I'm a thing, I'm a thief. And my wife don't want me, and my woman won't let her put me out. My wife don't want me. There were 2 people in the race, and nobody voted for me. They wanted to raise taxes, and I wanted world peace. And my wife don't want me, and my woman won't let her put me out. My wife don't want me.
All right. Thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, frat brother. Thank you, Wayman. And I do, even though I'm on Zoom, I do have on a full suit. So you all, and shoes.
Very good. Well, you're better dressed than I am, Fernando. So that's good. That's good. Well, thank you very much for being with us today. I really appreciate it. I think it's amazing what you're doing. We're definitely going to take you up on that offer once things calm down to have you back as our guest.
Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to go dark. I'm going to listen and enjoy.
Sounds good. But and before you go, I do want to share with you a little gift we're going to send you in the mail.
Oh, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Yeah, no, you're quite welcome. And it's a small token of our appreciation, but it does impact our community. And you'll see the photo on the screen right now, because we're all about effective, lasting change in Chicago.
Yes.
So all proceeds from these candles support an organization called Bright Endeavors, and their mission is to empower young moms by providing transitional jobs and professional skills training. This not only helps those young moms, obviously, but it also supports their kids and therefore communities as well. So we thank you. One of these will be in the mail to you, and we will be in touch about the spring or other opportunities, Fernando.
Okay, just one question. So is that you all's mission? I know some Rotary, like they collect clothing and nets for people in, I guess, mosquito-ridden parts of the world. What might the mission, you all's mission be? Your chapter mission?
Our mission is pretty broad. We're a pretty large club at about 170 people. And we also are the first Rotary club in the world, founded in 1905. So we do a little bit of everything. At any given time, we have dozens of local projects as well as international projects going on, going from supporting the eradication of polio to HPV vaccines to forest restoration, clean water. Here locally, we focus a lot on education, particularly education as well as disease prevention. But honestly, we do a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, I thank you.
Thank you, sir. And do feel free to stick around while we go through the rest of our program.
I will count on it. I got it.
Thank you. So the next point in our program is going through our introduction of guests. And I am going to attempt to do this first on Zoom, and then we'll go into the room here as well. We have one guest in the room. That would be you, Lucas. So maybe you can work your way up. I'd like you to introduce yourself at the mic so that the folks on Zoom can hear you as well. But let me start with the Zoom folks first. Let's see here. I see a Claudia Gamboa. Claudia, could you introduce yourself? Just your name, what you do, your profession, and if you're with the Rotary Club, what's your club name? Claudia.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Claudia Gamboa. I work at the Bank of Montreal. And I'm here today because I am actually a founder member of a new club. Actually, it's a virtual club in Colombia, but I am based here in Chicago. So the name of the club is E-Club Colombia Innova. So we are actually right now kind of like getting established. But I'm so happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to meet you guys when everything is back to normal.
Sounds perfect. Thank you very much, Claudia. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And then I know you've already introduced yourself, but why don't you do it formally? Guillermo Mendoza.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Guillermo Mendoza. I'm from the Rotary Club of Coachella Valley, located in Indio, California, District 5330. For my profession, well, you understood I was a band director, but then I became school principal for an adult school, retired about 10 years ago, and then joined the Rotary right around that time, right before I retired, about a year before. And I took over the music competition as well as the four-way test. And because I like to get back to adult education, I also the project manager of the Regional Desert Consortium. There's 70 consortia throughout the state of California that provide funding for adult education. We have about $500 million throughout the state that's spread out depending on need. And so it's sort of like being a superintendent without all the responsibilities. I don't have to sign any, well, yes, I do occasionally, but rarely.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. Good to have you on. And now I'm actually going to switch back to the room here, so Lucas doesn't have to stand here all day. Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Lucas. I'm a civil engineer. The way I got involved in Rotary is my dad, who was the president of Rotary 1 right before Eric. So I don't have a lot of experience with Rotary, but I'm looking forward to learning more about it and understanding what all of you do.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Thank you, Lucas. Good to have you here. You're obviously welcome anytime. All right, so let's see who else we have in the Zoomosphere. I see a Leroya Sanford. Leroya, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, yes, I'm Leroya. I am actually a Blues Camp alumni, and I actually earned a full ride scholarship to Dickinson College, which I currently attend, and got a scholarship from the Rotary Club of Santa Monica as well. So I'm just here to support and listen in.
Wow, perfect. Rotary and Blues Camp, you're bringing them both together. That's fantastic. Welcome, glad to have you here.
And she was on The View as a comedian when she was about 10 years old. Yeah.
No kidding. Wow. Well, maybe we're going to have you back as our next Rotary program.
That would be great. I actually, if you guys ever feel like a laugh, just search Leroy with an A Sanford and it'll come up.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I see Jamie Duwan. Jamie, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. I'm sorry I got my camera off, but I'm not really really presentable. But I'm Jamie Dewan, and I'm past president, I should say 2015. I was president of the Rotary Club Chicago Southeast, District 6450. And you guys are doing a great job. And by the way, I do work with Mr. Fernando Jones on this blues camp. I kind of give him support, technical support in Blackboard, support in instructional design, and also support in distance learning, which is my expertise and background. Thank you. Oh, by the way, one last thing. I'm director of the Guide Right program with the Chicago Alumni Chapter of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. We have a really award-winning program, and we mentor a number of kids throughout the year. So that's it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Jamie, for joining. Always great to have our friends from Chicago Southeast on the Zoom. Let's see, I see a Mahfuzur Rahman Faisal. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Nice to be here in this meeting of Rotary Club of Chicago. I'm Mahfuzur Rahman. I'm a member of Rotary Club of Dhaka Premier in Bangladesh. And it's very nice and great to join in Rotary Club meetings from far away. I would like to say it's now morning 4:30, and I was very excited to be here. So it's great getting you guest Fernando Jones. I'm very thankful to Fernando Jones as well to be here in this program, and I think I will see you more in the future Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for joining. I think I should connect you with our media past president, Marshall Schmidt, who's the only other person I know who might actually be up at 4:30 a.m. It's very impressive. Thank you. Let's see. I see another guest. Well, I think you might as well be a member by now. Salvador Farfan, you can introduce yourself.
Great, thank you. I'm sitting over here at the California table with Guillermo. Thank you again for having me. I was very interested in your program today because I'm going to help out tomorrow with the Rotary Club of Long Beach, and it must be something about October. Maybe it's Arts Month or something. They're going to have a musical number. So we're going to try it live and we'll see how it goes. So I wanted to get my feet wet by attending your meeting. So thanks again for having me.
Sounds great, Salvador. Always good to see you. I guess I'll see you next week, right? Very good. Chandra Somerville, would you like to introduce yourself? Chandra, are you there? All right. Well, we'll come back to Chandra. I see a Stan Christensen. Stan, could you introduce yourself? All right. I'm not hearing from Stan either.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
You caught me off guard. I'm a Rotarian from Norfolk, Nebraska. It's the home of Johnny Carson for somebody that's as old as I am. Nobody else probably remembers Johnny. Anyway, I'm the treasurer of our club. I was past president and all that good stuff. So I love Chicago and the blues. So I saw your invite. So I thought I would take a opportunity to experience that.
Well, thank you very much, Stan. Good to have you on, and you are welcome anytime. Thanks for joining. Did I miss any other guests, either physically here in the room or on Zoom?
Yeah, Eric, could I mention one more thing? I wanted to thank Russ Lamontia from your club for the invite, because he's one of our, I guess, quote, snowbirds who comes down and helps us with some of our fundraising events. So a good shout out and thank you to him.
Thank you, Guillermo. Very good. Okay. So now we'll move on to announcements, and we've got plenty of those. But actually, for our first announcement, which is actually a volunteer opportunity for anybody who's interested, I'm going to turn the floor over to Pedro Ceballos for a moment. Pedro?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Nice to be at the club again. Back in June, in the district, we put together a global grant to buy and distribute iPads to several hospitals and to nursing homes. So the grant was approved, and we got a lot of money from different places, including Rotary One and also from our friends in District 2750 in Japan. And we were able to procure over 250 iPads. And we are now in the process of distributing to the nursing homes and the hospitals. So I have 2 boxes of iPads in my garage right now that we need to take it to 2 hospitals in the south side of Chicago. One is Advocate Trinity, and the other one is Roseland. And what I'm asking is if anybody wants to come with me to deliver the computers. It's always nice to have an entourage to go there and take a good photo opportunity to put it in the web. So if anybody really wants to help out, this is a little bit in a short fuse. We need to get those iPads delivered as soon as we can. Hopefully this week or the week after. If anybody is interested in coming with me, especially you live in the city or in the south side of the city, please call me or so send an email or contact the President Eric. That would be the easiest. Contact President Eric and he can let me know who you are, and then we can we can deliver the iPads. So thank you. I look forward to having some people to come with me. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much, Pedro. We already had one person raise his hand here in the room. Actually, 2 people, Gunnar and Sarah. are both interested in joining.
Okay.
And I can certainly join as well. So you've got at least 3 people, and we'll see if we get any more takers in the next 24 hours here.
Okay.
So you're building your little army here. We'll,
Okay. Well, thank you.
Coordinate on that. Very good. So a couple of other items. The annual campaign has launched. Marga is leading that as president-elect. There is a landing page on the website already for the annual campaign. And I know that for those of you on Zoom, you can also see in the chat box, you should be able to see the link to that page for the annual campaign. You may know that there's something called the First 5 Initiative. Basically, the first 5 Rotary clubs in the history of Rotary, which are Chicago, San Francisco, Oakland, Seattle, and LA, have teamed up for a variety of things to work together, to do service, and also have some joint meetings. And we do have a member meeting and joint program tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central. The link for that, for those on Zoom, will be in the chat. For the rest of you, it is in the gyrator, in your email. Our guest speaker is Jennifer Jones, just announced as president of Rotary International 2022-2023, first female president in the history of Rotary. So kind of a big deal. Come in to this meeting, meet your fellow Rotarians from these other 4 cities, learn from Jennifer, and also learn about our initiative for serving the homeless that we're doing across all 5 cities. So on November 14th, I'll be looking for volunteers, a lot of volunteers. I'm gonna need a lot of volunteers. We're gonna be distributing hygiene kits. We're gonna be distributing food. We're gonna be connecting people with a variety of services that they may need as homeless citizens. And we're working with the Safe Haven, Night Ministry, and Salvation Army to get this done at multiple sites around the city. This is going to be a big project. I'm going to need your help, so please do block out the date. That's Saturday, November 14th. Other announcements. We continue to have our nice, fancy Rotary masks, like the one on my arm, the one that Marshall, Wes are wearing right now, thanks to our very own Natalie Loma. Raise your hand, Natalie. Thank you, Natalie. These are really wonderful masks, especially as the weather gets colder. They're nice and warm and nice and soft. And purchasing these masks goes to promote our COVID relief efforts. So reach out to the office for those, or go online to the website. The IMD Guest House, which serves people who are visiting family members who are patients in the Illinois Medical District, they're having a fall fundraiser for free on October 8th. There's a link for those on Zoom in the chat box, and for those here, you can check the gyrator for that. Support one of our past members there. As always, we have committee meetings and board meetings open to all coming up. They're always on the calendar. I don't necessarily need to read through all of those. We have our roundtables, which, as you know, have been reinstated. That's another opportunity for in-person fellowship. I guess if you're here in the room, it means you're okay with meeting in person at the moment. So join us at noon on Friday at the Union League Club on the 4th floor for the roundtable. We've been seeing really good attendance there. Tuesday, October 13th, next week, our program is E. Scott Santee, the chairman and CEO of Illinois Toolworks. He also is the chairman of the not the commercial club, the civic committee of the Commercial Club of Chicago. So I think that's going to be a very, very good program. And then also the following week, we have an incredible panel discussion coming up on polio, fighting polio. You may have heard that Africa is now polio free. Well, we have a panel that only Marga Hugo could have put together that has basically the rock stars of polio, the rock stars of Rotary. I mean, these are people who are world famous For example, a gentleman who's really very much responsible for eradicating polio in Africa, who was just named as one of Time's 100 most important people for this year, will be one of the persons on the panel. And then the person moderating the panel is the journalist from Time who wrote the article about him being one of the 100 most influential people. And we're going to have so many people in the audience, thanks to Marga, who are, as she puts it, Rotary royalty from around the world. So that really is not to be missed. So as always, we always conclude our meetings with the four-way test. And oh, hold on one moment. Oh, I'm sorry, Chandra, you may have been on mute earlier. One of our guests here didn't get a chance to introduce herself. Chandra, could you introduce yourself now, please?
Sure, thank you. I'm sorry about that. My name is Chandra Somerville, and I'm the president-elect from Champaign Rotary. And I was invited by Natalie Loma, and I was very impressed with the program today. So thanks for the invitation.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Chandra. And thanks, Natalie, for inviting folks. Always good to get more guests.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so before we wrap up our program, we always do the four-way test. Guillermo, would you do us the honor of reading the four-way test for our members?
Absolutely. The four-way test is the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And the Coachella Valley has one more. And is it fun?
That's a good one. I don't know, guys. Is it fun? All right. We got a unanimous thumbs up that it is, in fact, fun. And with that, meeting